Back in 2011, I had an online zine called Tago Zine, and I documented all the street art in Northampton. And in the August issue, 2011, I presented a photo of a giraffe with the tag Far Afar, Bay Area Flavor 06. I had no more information about this. But then in mid-August, I discovered an old, worn-out sticker of a similar giraffe on Pleasant Street. And then, by further coincidence, I discovered a Flickr set of a bunch of similar stickers, all from Northampton, circa 2006. One of the stickers on the Flickr set had the following written on it: Girafa, 12 states in 20 days. Further internet sleuthing and the mystery was solved. Our Far Bay Area flavor piece is probably by Girafa, who was on a tagging tour back in 2006. So I remind you, I wrote this in 2011. So Girafa was arrested in 2009, and the case was resolved in 2010. So that's the story. I want to show you what has happened to this piece in 2022. This is all that remains. You can see a little bit of it under this modern day mural that is part of this alleyway which people now eat dinner in here in Northampton. But that is a summary of what happened and a little bit of a coda to this story. I'll read the article from October 30, 2009. San Jose Mercury News is reporting that the San Francisco Bay Area graffiti artist Girafa has been arrested. Stephen Free, 30, of San Francisco, was arrested Tuesday on a $100,000 warrant, charging him in 10 felony cases in San Jose involving $40,000 in damage. And he pled guilty to $38,000 worth of street art. And that is how the story ended in 2009. And then in 2011, I did my photo journal essay in Tago Zine. And in 2022, a street mural has covered this historic piece of street art, which, well, I guess the chapter has come to a close. Great opportunity for the community to showcase this street art, especially in the days of Banksy. And it seems like street art is the thing. And here we had a classic piece, which was 16 years old. record sleeve advertisement from a record from 1970, and it's Atco Records, showing all of the records that company had to offer in 1970. And it's a two-sided advertisement printed on a record sleeve. You know, usually most record sleeves didn't have anything on them, but here Atco decided to print a color advertisement of all of the records in their collection. I'm just showing them here. As a matter of interest. Most of these I've never heard of. You know, some of them I've heard of, but didn't hear the music at the time. You know, all of the early Bee Gees albums I had no idea about. Of course, I knew about Sonny and Cher. They had a TV show. But these albums predate that TV show, I'm fairly certain. Soul Christmas, The Last Words, I have no idea of those two. I know Otis Redding, of course. Jack Reno, I never met him. I mean, Nina and Frederick, never heard of them. The Fireballs, Bottle of Wine, never heard of them. Arthur Conley, never heard. Dr. John, of course I've heard of Dr. John. But it goes on and on. I mean, it's more, well, about half and half I know and half I've never heard of. But it's, I'm sure, of interest to some people who are interested in these things to see. And it would be more interesting if somebody had something to actually say about these albums and these groups and this music, other than whether they've heard of them or not. You know, Jimmy Hughes. Somebody must be an expert on Jimmy Hughes and could tell the whole tale. Savage 7 original soundtrack featuring Cream. So, you know, rock and roll and soundtracks. King Curtis was on this label, as were the Bee Gees, obviously. I'm amazed at the preponderance of Bee Gees albums from 1970. I always thought of them as a later 70s type band, but they were around a lot earlier. The best of Sonny and Cher. And Hair, original London cast. I believe this was a British label for the most part. I'm not really sure. Haven't done my proper research into it, but you know, anybody who's interested would look it up themselves, and anybody who already knows the information would be rolling their eyes at me, trying to do the research. So I'm just presenting these images as it is. Somebody could find some meaning behind all of this. Comedy album. I believe that's the first comedy album in the collection of this advertisement. I haven't been paying close attention. I mean, where would you even begin to listen to this music? How could you even begin? This is just one small sampling from 1970 from one small record label. Bee Gees' first. I would assume that is their first album. But it could be first on Atco. You know, who knows? It's like a bunch of people swarming a giant. Bent Fabric. Never heard of them. History of Otis Redding. And it continues. I believe that's the second globe that was on a cover. Some outfits. The Great Memphis Hits. I wonder what those are. That album wouldn't have the answer. Acker Bilk and Bent Fabric together.